foods, we still be it will be difficult to make sure that our body has enough nutrients because our digestive tract is not up to the mark. So what are the problems with the digestive tract? If we don't have the right bacterial balance, or we don't have enough of gastric acid, hydrochloric acid. So today is a problem. Today we see everybody is popping those antacid proton pump inhibitors just like that, just like a chewing gum or a candy. So we have to be careful with using this antacid. Of course, it should be done with a careful, very experienced physician's guidance if required. Otherwise, hydrochloric acid is a very important acid required for the digestion of the food. If we don't have it, we don't digest our food. We get into malnutrition. Malnutrition again weakens our immune system. Along with that, some digestive enzymes from the biles, from the pancreas. So all those are required to make sure that whatever we are eating is getting digested and becoming part of our system. Now, today, we also has to understand what is disrupting our immune system. Why, so many people are having a poor immune system, or people getting into autoimmune conditions and all that. There's a lot of toxins are floating around us. Lots of toxins are floating around, especially aluminium. Today, we see every one of us is cooking into aluminium vessels. It's very unhealthy. Arsenic is another problem. Mercury is another problem. Lead is another problem. Polluted air, chemicals, pesticides, white sugar, refined oils, processed foods, lack of physical activity, and of course today microplastics. Now these some of the things that I have listed down, which are not healthy for your body and for your immune system. You have to take care of it to make sure that if you remove these things, slowly you will see your energy levels will increase, your immunity will increase, you will be a healthier body, a vibrant body. So to have a healthier body, we need to stop using the substances which can expose us to these toxins. So if we detoxify our system and we nourish our system, we can have we can reduce our weight, we can have a clear skin, we have more energy, regular bowel movements, mental clarity, very important today. Most of us don't have enough mental clarity. And of course, today's depression is another important topic, which is, we see for depression, there are physical components, there are non-physical components. A non-physical components are environment that we work in, or the social structure that we have. But the physical components are do we have enough nutrition in our body? Do we have enough good bacteria into our gut? Do we have enough vitamin D into us? So if we can take care of the physical components, we will have enough ability to fight this external stimulus, which we don't have control over. So to ensure that we have a right immune system, right mental clarity, we need to detoxify our system. We need to nourish our system. Just to help our viewers. So of course, this should be done in a doctor's guidance. Just daily requirement of vitamin D is 5,000 international units per day. Okay. Now, if we are not exposing ourselves to our sun, get a blood test, get to know your levels of vitamin D, and take a supplement, or expose yourself to the sun. Vitamin C, 500 grams, milligrams, sorry, that can be taken, or 1 gram can be taken over a period of 1 day in divided doses. Of course, that can be done in a doctor's guidance. Along with that, there's a very important supplement which is available. It's called NAC. Now, this is the precursor to glutathione. It will help your ability to boost your immune system. Along with that, a healthy fat, which is omega-3, which can be taken. Of course, you should drink enough green tea, which will boost your immune system to fight the viral infection. Along with that, make sure that you take enough of pro and prebiotic foods. Make sure that you have the right diversity and the quality of good bacteria. If you do that, at least we cannot control the virus. Of course, we are doing a social distancing, we are putting a mask and all that. But along with that, you need to have a robust immune system, a robust healthy body, so that even if somebody gets infection, the infection does not take a severe form. I think that's all from my side, Danush. So I'm open to take your questions.
That was really informative session from your side, sir. I really felt educative about the vitamins which we have to be consuming day to day. And you also mentioned about vitamin D and vitamin C too. Well, I do have a question where everybody right here is obese of overweight, and are individual genetics important in factoring in their weight or diet goals?
Absolutely, absolutely. So there are two things, of course, what kind of genetics we have, and then another thing is what are the genes exposed to. Okay, now we cannot change the genetics, but we can change or control the expression of it if we have the right environment around the genes. How do we create the right environment around the genes? We need to ensure that we don't take any toxic substance, any processed carb. Lot of sugar can manifest a lot of problems. Okay, and the human genetics only 1% to 2% of the complete genome. 98% of the genome that we have today is bacterial or viral genome. Okay, we today, as per the science, it is being taught that we are, we are a host to the bacteria. So we need to ensure that we get in the right bacteria to our gut, or into our body, so that these bacteria again in turn control the manifestation of the expression of our genes. So this is called epigenetics. So the kind of environment, kind of bacteria that we have, that will control the expression of our genetic makeup. So if we have a poor genetics, does not it's not a problem. We can still take care of it as long as we work towards it.
Yes, that's for sure. And this is the time where we're all spending 24/7 stuck at home because of coronavirus. And because we feel hungry 24/7. It's regarding all the students, like all these teenagers who's staying at home. Is that nutrition which we consume is being excess, or it is getting lower the down line? How is this happening? Is it gonna affect
Oh,
any of the things?
it's a very brilliant question, and I would like to love to answer that. See, the kind of food that we eat will proliferate the different kind of bacteria. All right, when somebody is hungry all the time, it's not that body is asking for the food. It's a bad bacteria and the fungus asking for the food all the time, or the sugars they are asking. The cravings are not because the person is asking for it. It's a bad bacteria and the fungus in the gut which is making them eat certain things. All right, so this is
Yes,
called
sir.
gut brain axis. Our gut is influencing our brain. Okay, now if we bring the right balance, we ensure that we take the healthy non-processed food and non-hybridized food. You will see over a period of time your bacteria will come in balance and your cravings and hungers will go. You will only eat what is required.
Yes, 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 sir. And that was really informative because that was my personal question. Actually, I would be hungry 24/7. That's for sure. And
So I mean, we should not be. See, sometimes we should get into guilt feeling that my body is always asking. I'm also I'll be always hungry. I have to binge on certain things. It is not you which is the problem. It is the bad bacteria or the fungus which is a problem. Now, if we solve that problem, you don't have to be blaming yourself for that.
correct, 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 sir. And how much protein, fats is required to be consumed in a day?
I think again there are recommendations from the different organization, but for my side, I would say we have to take high quality. We have to take what you say non-hybridized proteins, or the non-processed fats. The next component is see, we can take as much we feel. We don't have to worry about, really we don't have to calculate those things. That's a old theory. The next thing is, are we able to digest what are we taking? Today you see there's so many people taking these protein powders. Some of them will get a
Correct.
good body, some of them will not get a good body, simply because some of the people, they don't have the enough digestive enzymes or the bacteria to ensure that the protein that they have taken becomes a part of their system. So basically from the gut only the nutrition should go into the bloodstream, where it can become a part of our system. Now we don't have the enough gastric acid or the enzymes or the good bacteria. Doesn't matter if we take a more or less, we are not able to digest. So my take on that is, we should be comfortable in eating. We should not be overeating, or we should not be under eating to reduce our weight. To reduce our weight or to manage our daily requirements, we let the body do its job. Our body will tell what it needs, as long as we feed the body with the healthier foods.
Yes, yes, that was really informative once again. And you do have many questions online. And there's another question for you. Are modern Indian diets without constant reliances on rice, wheat, leading to an increase in chronic diseases? And what actually do you mean about gut and gut bacteria?
All right. That's a good question. Yes, the white rice, they're only carbs. The wheat is hybridized. These two are leading to the all the more. This is one of the reasons for behind the what you say, the chronic issues. Of course, dairy is another thingy which is which is becoming a part of the trouble. Now, what I mean by the good bacteria, just like a tree has a roots. Now, all in the roots are in the soil, and a lot of bacteria are around it. The good bacteria, they break down the soil and feed the root with the nutrients that goes into the tree. All right.
Okay.
Similarly,
Yeah.
we have good bacteria into our gut, good fungus into our gut. All right. When we eat something, they produce enzymes. Those enzymes will help you to break down the food. Now, these bacteria, when they eat the fiber, they give, as a byproduct, they give us B complex. They give us some very nutrient things which are required for our system. When we lack these things, or for example, somebody got an infection, have taken antibiotic. Once
Mm.
one dose of antibiotic, one session of antibiotic, we need to ensure that we get back those good bacteria from the pro and prebiotic foods. If we don't do that, our digestive tract will slowly start deteriorating. Okay, so bacteria, we has to live close to the nature. There are so many bacteria around us. We need to ensure that we inculcate all the good things into us.
I'm really learning a lot of new things today. I don't know. It's been a very interactive and an informative session for me today. And there's one last question for you. How will I know about my gut bacteria doing
All
well
right.
or not? Being a vegetarian, what extra precautions should I take?
Okay. So first of all, to know whether we have the right quality bacteria or we don't have it, we can do a microbiome testing or microbiota testing. There, somebody will come take a stool sample. They will, check all the different strains, good or the bad, and then based on that, they will make a recommendation that you need to take these foods or you don't. You have to stop these foods. Now, being a vegetarian is not a problem. Okay, in the
Yes,
vegetarian food, we have enough proteins, we have enough good fats, enough for example, today the misconception is that B vitamins, especially B12, as a vegetarian we might lack onto it. All right, now the B
correct.
complex is formed by the gut bacteria. If we don't have the right bacteria or we don't have the right digestive enzymes, then we can get into deficiencies. Even a non-vegetarian person can get into deficiencies, even they do eating a lot of proteins. I mean, I have people coming to me, they are non-vegetarians, still I find they are deficit on too. When I run a blood test on them, I find them they're low on the proteins. All right, so it's not how much or what you put into your mouth, it depends how much you can actually digest or metabolize.
Yes, 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 sir. And I would wind it up with one last question. These are all for the people who are above 50, who have low immune systems, and below 10, who are low immune systems. Give a
Right.
short note with what protein diet they should follow down during this corona. What should they follow down, and what are the needs they should take care? In a short
Okay.
note.
So for elderly people, to boost the immune system, the first trick that they can do, which is simple, which is called intermittent fasting or time restricted fasting. See, it's just like that. Uh, when we if all the day long we are cooking into our kitchen, there's no time to clean the kitchen. Same is the with body. If I'm always feeding my body with foods, body is only busy in processing the food. It does not have the process. It does not have the time to clean it. So the first thing they should do is a time restricted eating. They should make a window of 10 to 8 to 10 hours in a day where they should eat. Rest of the day they should keep hungry. That is for the elderly people or anybody above 15 or 16. Okay, now they, as a vegetarian or as a they should avoid anything genetically modified. The wheat is genetically modified, the milk that we are getting is genetically modified cows. Next thing they should do is they should check their nutritional status. Of course, they can work with their doctors, check their vitamin D or different micronutrients from blood testing. They will, whatever is missing, they can supplement that. All right. For a kid's perspective, I think they should be fed with they should be avoided with the dairy which is plastic packaged, or which is a pasteurized milk. It is very difficult for a small young kid to digest the milk. Today we think the calcium that we get or a protein we get is required from milk, but unfortunately 40% of the milk we don't even know whether it is milk. It has some urea into it or some other chemicals into it which looks like milk. It's not milk. Second, it is coming from the cow which is hybridized. Now the same milk we think it is healthy for us, and we end up having a problem. All right. So I think
Yes.
avoiding which can damage and start eating which is a healthier and natural food, we can reverse chronic illnesses. We can make sure our kids don't get into trouble or frequent infections. And of course, today soil is also depleted into the nutrition, because we are having a lot of crops every year. So we don't feed the oil with enough of organic matter. So soil is also getting depleted into magnesium, zinc, and all that. We need to ensure we check the levels into our blood whether we have enough of the micronutrients. If we don't, have to make use of the supplements to make sure that our body is healthy.
That was an amazing session. I got a free consultation from a doctor. That was that. I really felt so informative having a conversation or a talk show with the Planetic Media House. I thank you for being on this platform today. We're glad to have you here. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Danush. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Let's get back to the session of crafting transformative information. Our second speaker would be Dr. Vanishree, who's a doctor and a. Over to you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You can start the session.
Danush?
Yes, ma'am. You can start the session.
Okay. How would I start? It's a good afternoon or good morning?
It's a good. It's morning yet.
Right. Great. In fact, it was great listening to Dr. Ashwani Garg, and So if you can see this, the good health, if you see the definition from the WHO, it's like, the overall well-being, the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and I think all of us know what it means. And then if we have to concise into the pattern what we have to follow, it is more about, I would always say these are four pillars, which is very important for our good health, like, balanced nutrition, a good portion and proportion of, all the, plate, what it should contain. And then good exercise and a good amount of rest, and then positive attitude. Right, I want to start with this because a strong positive attitude is so important. It can act like a great miracle. It is wonder drug, what we say, because in all the aspects what we follow in our life, the attitude makes all the difference, right? So even with respect to the nutrition, food what we take, and then exercise what we do, or whatever the action we do, so the positive thought makes all the difference. The next important pillar what I would like to cover it upon is exercise. Doctor was again telling about the importance of exercise, and you were asking too the good questions on exercise and those things. The important, like, everybody need to do some exercise, again depends on their body condition or disease condition and age, everything, but on an average what we recommend is around 30 to 45 minutes at least 5 times per day. And it is recommended not just after the food, it is at least 3 to 4 hours gap, and the best time is early morning. And always I would recommend is a varieties of exercise than sticking on to a type of exercise, because body will also become used to it, especially when somebody is working out with respect to their weight reduction. And then yoga, pranayama, all are very good. I am a great follower of yoga and pranayama, and those are all really a great benefits we can get it from those patterns. And then the other thing what nowadays they're telling is sitting long time. COVID has unfortunately people, lot of people are working at home, and they have an opportunity to work, but they have to sit in a place long time. At least in office, they here and there they they go here, they sit for a long time, and they say that sitting is a new smoking. You know what that means? Like if you sit more than 3 to 4 hours in a single place, that is equivalent to a 1 cigarette smoking. I would always say, I just have to avoid a passive smoking. But if I sit in a place for a long time, it's equivalent to a smoking. So it's so important every 1 hour at least to get up and stretch ourselves a little, if not, a big walk. 5 minutes every, 1 hour or 1.5 hours, what we say, and some move what we can do makes all the difference. As simple as blink your eyes and just relax, or take a deep breath, or, smile or rotate, do few basic steps which can help us to make some movement within our body, so that it can help better than making that sedentary life. The other important thing is adequate rest, right? Because doing exercise and taking good food, all is important. At the same time, taking rest is also important. In Ayurveda also, what we say is night rest is very much recommended. We say divaswapna nishidha. That means daytime sleeping. The lot of metabolic disorders, what we say, maybe all these obesities and the diabetes, all these things, we say it is mainly because of the metabolic disease, and that happens because of the daytime sleeping. So it's very important to avoid daytime sleep. Yeah, if at all somebody is very much tired, recommended 10 to 15 minutes of maximum rest, but not a daytime sleep. Especially after food, we recommend not to sleep. And the night, a good rest of 6 to 8 hours, depending on again their body conditions. And the recommended other tips would be, you can see here, good food at the night and the light food dinner, and then reading some good books would also lead to, because in these COVID situations, I'm going through a lot of cases who are telling they're not getting a good sleep, that leads to, that reason can be different, maybe a lot of thoughts running, a negative thoughts running, that can be also, the negative impact on that. But the other things, also important, avoiding the screens. At least I would recommend at least 1.5 hours before sleeping, avoiding the screens, and the 2 hours of sleeping, 2 hours of food taking before the sleeping time would be always a great tip to follow a good night rest. So I was telling you, I'll be talking more on the nutrition, but I wanted to cover those pillars first because it makes hand in hand. It is so important to cover everything together so that we can have a great health. Because just the nutrition, although it shares a major portion, that is not enough. A good attitude is also makes all the difference. When we talk about the types of nutrition, doctor was beautifully covering about the protein, fat, and all these micro and macronutrient, what we call. What does that mean? Macro is what you needed in a major quantity, micro what you needed in a minute quantities. Like if you see our basic Indian diet, wherever the place you belong to, if you see your meal plate, what we always say is like, major portion would be our rice, and then there will be dal, and then fruits and vegetables and all those things, pickles and papad and all those things. So what does that mean? That means we need to take more of a carbohydrate, protein and fat. Dal is a rich of protein and a carbohydrate and fat. So you were asking the one right questions like how much is the requirement of protein, carbohydrate? Doctor was beautifully answering regarding that it again depends on the body conditions and then absorption, everything. And on an average, what is recommended is protein, a good quality protein, which is very important, a combination of varieties of dals. Right? See, non-veg has a good source of protein, but then that is not safe in the long run. That too, if you see COVID, this situation, lot of doctors are recommending not to take more of a non-veg source, being it is more of a acidic in nature. So if you see in that way, the plant-based nutrition is the best. So, but it actually has the lack of, in each dal, there is not a complete protein. So when you make a combination of protein, combination of dals, then it can leave a very good protein, like, varieties of dals, you see, on an average 50 to 60 grams of protein per person, like for men around 55 to 60 grams, and for ladies 50 to 55 grams protein, what we recommend normally. So again, it depends on the quality protein, and more of isoflavones is better, and not unadulterated, which makes all the difference. And carbohydrate, again, talking on that. So it's very important what carbohydrate we take. We have to take more rich of fiber-rich carbohydrate, not a polished. Like if you see maida and rava, all the suji, what we say, all these are more of a polished, more of a refined. So we have to take more rich in husk. So that is more important as a carbohydrate intake. And the fat, again, doctor was telling, if you remember, so fat is good, but we should know what fat we had to take. So we say omega-3 and omega-6 is a good fat, but then again, the ratio matters a lot. So omega-6 is, most of the oils what we take is omega-6. It is again needed to our body for a lot of health conditions. And omega-3 is something which is very important for the, with respect to taking care of our health, or, reducing the inflammations and infections. The ratio should be 4:1. That's what we say. And the other fat, which is bad fat, is that is called trans fatty acids. What we say. How do you, like a normal general person, how do you know what is trans fat? Anything which you open and eat. Maybe start with your, open from the plastic cover and eat. Most of the time, the ready food has a trans fat, which is not good. That doesn't come under nutrition at all, but end up we taking lot of trans fats. So that leads to a lot of health challenges. And then vitamins and minerals, which is a combination of more of a fruits and vegetables. All right. So the reason I wanted to spend more time on that, because that is something which is very important to take care of our health, a good balanced nutrition. So all of us know this, why we need good nutrition, right? To take care of our good health and to give energy, and especially the protection from diseases. Everybody think in that angle right now more, right? So the next topic would be, what is the challenges with respect to gaining a right nutrition? So most of the informations are actually going hand in hand, what doctor was telling, but I don't want to cover everything here. But lot of these things, if you can read out the slide, these things are causing a challenge with respect to absorption of right nutrition. Our body condition is different, our demand is different, need is different. All these things lead to a lot of challenges. And with respect to the soil depletion, I definitely want to make a point on that, because now the way we wanted to grow so fast, everything has become so fast, and we want to even grow the vegetables and fruits so fast and add so much fertilizers, artificial, which can again come to our body. Where it goes, when you add to your vegetables and fruits, that come to your body, and the majority of a girl or a boy is happening so early now, and it is causing a lot of challenges, with respect to their growth and development, because too early the kids are growing now. And a lot of other challenges like imbalanced meals and overcooking foods and using more of those aluminum and non-stick things. All these things are really causing a lot of challenges, which leads to, see, what happens is when we don't take a right portion and proportion, it leads to a lot of malnutrition, right? So malnutrition is not just a lack of nutrition. Even if you take more of a nutrition, that is also called mal. I would like to call it as malnutrition, right? Because of eating more in mal, that leads to a lack of nutrition, that is malnutrition. So undernutrition will lead to a lot of challenges, and with respect to micro and macro, loss of weight, all these things because of the lack of protein, and then all these other challenges of anemia and all would cause because of the micronutrient challenges. And I was telling you about the malnutrition, which is causing more of the lifestyle challenges what right now the people are facing. That's more with respect to their eating habits and with respect to their digesting capacity, what we say metabolic challenges, which leads to a lot of lifestyle diseases. Nowadays, if you ask a family, at least one or two would have these type of challenges. I'm not scaring you, but then that is a situation right now. So what's happening is, end of the day, we just accept like that is a situation, I'm taking tablet and I can't change much. You were asking one question, that how much is that genetic contribution? Yes, genetic contribution is that, but it is not 100% which is causing. The diseases are becoming genetic. It is more because of the same food pattern and same thought. Everything is running same from the generations. And there is a chance which is in our hand, which we can take, by doing a good exercise and then good food, what we can follow. It makes all the difference. What are the challenges? As already covering about the malnutrition, the other challenges are the lot of stress, which leads to a lot of challenges. Especially, I would like to call something called a free radical effect. Right, the stress leads a lot, and if you see nowadays, people having lot of neck pain and then digestion issue. All these are not just because of the food; it is mainly because of the stress as well, and then dehydration, not taking a good amount of water. And I already covered about malnutrition, and doctor covered so beautifully about the inflammation is the the reason for a lot of diseases, and the tiredness and the poor eating habits, and less of physical activity. That is something which we have to keep it on our priority of thought, doing a regular exercise, because I would believe a maximum challenge. Again, depends on your condition, because disease condition we can right away, we can't put them on a physical activities. But yes, doing a right follow-up, following up with the right doctor or a wellness consultant, you can definitely bring back with a right proportion of nutrients and with the right physical activities. The poor health habits, which I was already covering. The other one point which I would like to tell you is Prajnaparada. I think for most of you it's a new word. Prajnaparada is nothing but doing something by already knowing it. Like, I know a lot of things is not the doctor's knowledge, it's a general knowledge. If you see your old generation or your generation, lot of things you already know what you have to follow, but still we do. Prajnaparada is, I know that Prajna, I have that awareness, but still I do. Avoiding that can really help a lot of good conditions. A few other tips which I would like to give you again here is following a right food pyramid. That is not made just for the sake, right? There is a reason why it is made. I was telling you about the food plate. So we have to eat more of a dals and rice, and then fruits and vegetables, and then oil, and then sweets and ghee. See, in Ayurveda we say ghee is very good, but we don't say it can be a main course of meal, right? So it is 1 to 2 spoon per day. So it's very important we should know how much to eat what, because if you see the disease, any disease into a manifestation into an organ, that would have started with respect to the challenge in the cell, right? So our organ is made up of like if you see in the way the cell and then tissues and then organs and the organ system, right? All of us know, we studied in our science. So that means a cell needs a quality food. If you see, if you can track it back, the minutest part of our body is cell. If you give a good nutrition to a cell, we can avoid so many diseases which are going to come in the future. Because when it manifested into a disease, then just the nutrition would not be help. It would not help, because by then there already a disease manifestation. We may need a medication as well. But how we can avoid? By taking a good nutrition. So what are all the things? Bad fat, as I was already telling you, the one great tip is anything ready food which we open in our pocket and eat has the trans fatty acid, which is definitely a big no. And the good fat, the oil what we take, yes, limit the consumption of oil. The fry, we can keep changing the oils. On an average, what we say is half liter, 300 to 500 ml per person in a family per month is the ideal one. Oil to take, and definitely involve more of these omega-3 food, good sources of walnut and flax seeds, and then chia seeds can be added to a food and needed, as doctor was telling. We can definitely go for a omega-3 supplementation as well. And again, carbohydrate is more of a good, not hybrid and not refined carbohydrate, more of a husk, more of a like red rice and all those things, which is take time to digest, which has got more nutrition as well. And then protein, again, varieties of fruits, varieties of dals, and then vitamins, minerals. At least in a day, 2 types of fruits, 2 types of, to start with, 2 types of vegetables we can add in our diet. Is that possible? Is that too much to ask? No, I don't think so. At least 2 fruits, not 2 fruits, I would say 2 varieties of fruits. Like doctor was telling, that rainbow color diet, at least a different colors, because the color leads to lot of immunity, right? So that is important. If I have to give a simple example, if we go to sun and come back, we feel tired, right? If we stay there long time. But if you see all the trees and fruits and vegetables in that intact, so it will always look fresh, and it looks so intact, and it looks so nutritious. Why? Because that is because of the colors of the fruits and vegetables, or the color of the leaf. So when we take that, like with the different colors, we can also get that nutrition and have that great immunity. And then fiber, which is always lack in our food nowadays, we have to make sure that we take more of a fiber, more of a raw vegetable, which can lead to a lot of good digestion, and of course help in good prebiotic as a prebiotic food. And an important aspect is water, because when we sit, especially I am observing a lot, when we sit long time and start doing the work, and the weather, it will be so conducive, we just sit in a place, we just forget drinking water. So at least on an average, a 10 glass of water or 2 liters of water, which is recommended and needed to take. And with respect to fruits and vegetables, I would like to give you a tip that I would recommend mostly the fruit before 1 hour of food, or after 1 hour of food. Vegetables, yes, just before is a good tip, but fruit always recommended 1 hour before, because it's like you take and suddenly you take food because that is boiled, that is not boiled. So it is good to take a little before. And then, this is something which I wanted to show you. End up we are doing this, but I would say no. Not that we should not take, we have a good taste buds in our tongue, but then yes, if we are very conscious on what we eat, how much to eat, without having that guilt feeling, because feeling that I have to eat, how would I avoid, and those feelings again creates that craving and leads to a lot of challenges. If you can keep that limit how much I eat, then it makes a lot of difference. The other thing which I was telling you about, that antioxidant, doctor was also telling about that, the free radical effect which is happening because of the stress or the not good food what we take, that is again causing a lot of ill health. So antioxidant like vitamin C, vitamin E, the rich foods when we take, that helps a lot to our good health. The overall solution I was covering about with respect to a good nutrition, and then good antioxidants food. And the other important tips I would like to give is Nidana Parimarjana. Again, it's a typical word of Ayurveda. Nidana Parimarjana is nothing but avoiding the cause, avoiding the problem itself. Like when I know, I was already telling about the Prajna Parada, that's a direct answer for that. When I know this is causing me problem, like imagine I have some infection right now. So then it is not recommended to take fruits because it is not good. Then I had to take a boiled vegetables or a light food, maybe a red rice ganji, or we recommend more of this green dal, porridge or khichdi, what we say. So I should know what is the reason, and it is not that all the time you need doctor. Yes, good to have a doctor friend and get the tip, but few times if you think back your old diet itself, it can give you a lot of solutions. Yes, good nutrition makes a lot of difference, and needed supplementation. And when you're choosing a supplementation, it's very important. What is the source of that supplementation? How good it is that recommended? Do they follow that? The good practice, and do they have that more of a natural and organic ingredients? So definitely needed, we can go for a supplementation, and then make some changes with respect to our lifestyle. And needed, because there are few cases it's very difficult to reverse just by a food and a supplementation. In those cases we need medication. So in Ayurveda we say shamana and shodhana chikitsa. That's like a symptomatic treatment and a shodhana. Doctor was telling that intermittent fasting, like that there are varieties of shodhana, that is called a purification, detoxification. So again, depending on the condition, depending on the age and the health, we recommend shodhana and shamana chikitsa as well. And overall, the final tip would be drinking more of a water, good sun exposure, 15 to 20 minutes. Again, that's a very good source. But yes, if there is a lot of deficiency when you go through some tests, we may need to take a supplementation. Any point of time, it is good to take, right? And good vegetable salads before the food. And breakfast, eat breakfast like a king, and lunch like a prince, and dinner like a beggar. All of us heard about that, right? So that means we have to take more good food, protein rich and carb rich in breakfast, lunch a moderate time, and the dinner should be always very light, which is rich in fiber and which is very light, and early dinner is always recommended. The other thing is no sweet and oily food at night, because a lot of people tell that they feel that craving, that taking of sweets food at the end while sleeping or immediately after food. That's because of lack of protein in their diet, lack of fiber in their diet, which leads to those challenges. And the one tip I would like to give you is any heavy items like oily items or sweet, reducing afternoon hours, like when the sun goes down, it's good to avoid a heavy food, because when sun is up, your digestion capacity is also good. Just make sure that don't take a heavy food at the end of the day. So that is some one tip which I wanted to give you. And I think with that I'm done. And over to you, Dhanush.
That was really an informative session about an Ayurvedic nutrition stuff. The way you use the Sanskrit words as prajana, parada, nidana, primanja, shodhana, and shamana. These are all the Sanskrit words. You made sure that this Indian culture is maintaining a perfect diet since long time. So just as a short, if we maintain our Asian diets and nutrition, that would be perfect. We don't need any modern cultures to cut out in our particular diets. I really liked about that, ma'am. But I do have a lot of questions for you waiting down.
Yes.
Well, how can you differ a non-vegetarian diet is healthier or a vegetarian diet is healthier? Because we have equal proteins getting from a mutton, chicken. We have equal proteins getting from an almond or a walnut or any curry leaves.
Right.
Who will be the most healthiest person date?
Yeah, I thought after telling this, I'll be getting into controversy, and a lot of you would be asking me these questions. I am a hardcore vegetarian, actually. Not just that, not for the reason I'm telling you, because what we say is it is not about the nutrition content from the food. See, food source is like I have a second standard girl who says the food source comes from two, right? Plant and animals.
Yes.
Right. So in that, if you see the rich protein, you will get it from the non-veg source. But then when you see our body, the way our the body is designed, teeth from their digestion system, it is more designed to take more of a vegetarian food. That's what scientists are telling. It's not my study which I'm telling. It's not that it is wrong, and especially right now in this condition, heavy food is more difficult to digest. So non-veg will come, I mean, it's a package. It comes along with the fat and more of those red meat and all comes with those fat, which is very difficult to digest. That is the reason we tell avoid. Of course, in that way, if you see, egg is a very good protein and milk is also can be told as a non-veg source. But then again, the reason I'm telling you it causes more of a acidic nature in our body, which is again difficult. It can lead to a lot of metabolic challenges. And if you limit your intake of non-veg, maybe once or twice a week, especially I'm talking about this thick meats, heavy meats like, not the chicken and fish. That is still good because omega-3 salmon is a richest source in that way if you see. More of a heavy food, I mean to say, Dhanush.
Yes, yes, ma'am. That is good about that also. And there's another question saying that what is clean eating? What is eating? Clean eating. I want you to say a short note on clean eating.
Right, right. So again, clean eating is nothing but a meal, a plate which has all the varieties of nutrient which I was talking to you.
Yes.
Right. So it's like you should have on a daily basis a good amount of rice as well. Like a lot of people come out with right now thinking that rice is not good. So we need carbohydrate. There is no chance we come up with a supplementation of carbohydrate that has to be taken from our diet on a daily basis. So equally important is our the rice intake or whatever their staple food with respect to cereals what they take. Maybe it is wheat or maize or whatever. So as a typical South Indian, my main food is rice. But yes, so that is definitely should be there around 30 to 40% what we say. Again, it depends on your body condition. Like if you want to reduce your weight, we would usually recommend more of a protein, so more of a fiber and little less of a carbohydrate. Yes, on an average around 40% of the carbohydrate like your rice and these cereals, and around 20 to 25% of the dals and proteins, varieties of dals. If you can cook a moong dal and a green dal and then masoor dal, the varieties of dals in a day or every day changing those dals. Using some dals and cooking with the vegetables, maybe at least 2 to 3 types of vegetables, and taking fruits. I would recommend fruits intake is more in a daytime. So taking at least 2 varieties of fruits or 2 servings of fruits, and then good fiber like when you take good fruit, that is again taken care, and the curd, which is again a very good probiotic. And buttermilk is the best in Ayurveda, what we say. If you can curd and churn and take out the butter, so that is the best. And adding that, and then a good amount of water. I think that's nothing nothing more than that. That's enough, Danish.
Yes,
That's clean
that
eating, I would
that
say.
that was really informative, and that was really informative about the information of every food structures and every enzymes of clean eating you've been mentioning about. And you said about eat like a king and eat lunch like a queen and a dinner like a beggar.
Yes.
And I wanted to know like what is the particular diet we need to follow to eat breakfast like a king, or eat breakfast like eat dinner like a beggar, or lunch like a queen? What is the diet you would like to recommend for all the attendees out there?
Great question, Dhanush. I definitely wanted to interpret in a right way, because again, when we give some keywords, people interpret on their own way, right? I have my own processing, which I think, yeah, I think doctor told with respect to this angle. So I wanted to definitely clear it that eat like a king means king have all his kingdom. He can rule, right? That means is in a breakfast you have a liberty of taking more of a varieties of fruits, and the The first thing which is very important is protein, because the whole night so much recovery happens in your body. So most important is protein in the morning. But we fed up taking coffee, tea, and all those things, right? So
Yes.
better not to take a coffee, tea as an immediate food. Maybe a one or two, dry fruits or something like that to start with. And then coffee. I know even I also drink coffee, but then giving a gap of half an hour or so and then drinking coffee would be one of the options. And with respect to breakfast, like if you see a typical, I know I'm not telling North Indian food is not good. Again, they take wheat chapati that is that has got protein. But if you see our South Indian diet, we take more of a dosa, idli, and that has got probiotic. It has got natural cultivated, I mean natural yeast, and then no, it has got urdal, which is protein. So that is also a good protein rich. Breakfast, but definitely in to some extent even bisi bele bath is good, but not more of a all these baths like what is
Love,
that
tomato
palav, and
bath.
because it
Yeah.
doesn't have much of a protein. So make sure that have protein also with the breakfast. That's what I mean to say, because you can take even more with respect to breakfast, and eat like the eat what is that lunch like a queen or a prince, I would say, because they have again a limited share. If you see, king has a major share because he have a major portion, right? So they like if you say in a prince, he has a limited share, right? In that way, you have to take more of a fiber also with respect to your um, lunch. So protein again needed, and then more of a vegetables, and vegetables boiled and raw both can be taken, and then dal also, which is important, because in a lunch we say more of a sabjis, right? In the sabjis it can be
Correct.
vegetables and even a dal. The dinner,
Correct.
why it is very light, we should take, and we should take early, because at least there should be a 2 hours of gap, because when the food get digested, we have all the time for the repair, the night. Otherwise, imagine we take it 10 and then we sleep. The all the time it takes is for the digestion itself,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
the light one is always good. I know a lot of people come up telling me that, and if you take light, they feel hungry at the 10 o'clock before
Yes.
sleeping. Yeah, there is a challenge. I agree. In those cases, I would recommend maybe turmeric golden milk. If you would have seen Ayurvedic doctors recommending nowadays more of that, jeera kashaya or turmeric milk can be one of the great solution there before sleeping. Something which is very light, that can be done.
Yes, ma'am. That was really information about the session. I really learned a lot of things from you. Thank you so much for being on Pantech Media House. We're glad to have you here.
Pleasure, Danish.
Yes, ma'am. Well, let's get back to the session with Crafting Transformative Information, 23rd edition of webinar. And our next speaker would be Samir Ansari, who's a holistic wellness coach and who's also a celebrity fitness coach. Over to you, sir. Yes, yes, sir. Okay, the session is started. Sir, over to you. You can start the session. Yes, sir, you can start the session.
I can start the session.
Yes, sir, you can start the session.
Okay. So, hi, this is Samir Ansari from Mumbai, and I've been into health, wellness, and fitness for almost 10 to 12 years now, training celebrities in Mumbai, and have done my qualification and courses from American College of Sports Medicine. And also, I've done my diploma in Ayurveda. Sorry, not Ayurveda, but in yoga from Mumbai University. And I'm a lot into Ayurveda as well. So earlier when I started, my programs were always based on the modern science of weight training, cardio, flexibility, muscular endurance, different types of training. And also the nutrition were based on that. But down the line, 5 years after coming into yoga and Ayurveda, my programs are more based on the the eating, or based on Ayurveda and the psychological and psychophysiological aspects of yoga. So now, I mean, I won't be telling you that, just go and do heavy weight training and take a lot of protein. So all those things are not there. Okay, so coming to the point that where I can now integrate the modern science, the nutrition modern science, exercise modern science. So the science which is modern in nature related to exercise and nutrition, I've combined that with the ancient Ayurveda and yoga. So combining all that, it's a very very lethal combination which people can follow. So all of my clients has been following this particular pattern of where we still train ourselves in weight training, but we still try to incorporate Ayurveda and yoga. So I would be talking a lot on immunity and of course the nutrition. What I have understood now after the COVID-19 is in place, everybody is well aware of nutrition always, well aware of immunity always. But now they have realized that immunity is important. It was always of great importance. But people are now understanding because of COVID-19. So if you see, it's not only the coronavirus or the COVID-19 disease, a particular virus is affecting you. You see there are so many different viruses and bacteria which affects you on daily basis. But if you have a good immune system, you'll be able to fight it back and get rid of those viruses naturally without getting into the medicines. Not the medicines, but the drugs. Normally when people talk about medicines, I say that medicine does not mean the antibiotics and the painkillers. When you talk about antibiotics and painkillers, they are considered drugs. Medicines are considered which has a healing effect, does not have a fighting effect. Antibiotics, painkillers have a fighting effect. It's a conflicting state in your body when you consume. But if you see, when we talk about medicines, it's a healing effect. Now, medicine can be food, can be herbs, anything which is natural in nature can be medicines. So now people are like understanding that immunity is important. We should be taking care of immunity. But what I would like to tell people, the immunity was always of a great importance. But just because now corona is there and you don't have any antivirus for that particular virus, you're trying to increase your immunity. So I will talk on immunity, that if you try to take some vitamin C supplements, vitamin C, different kind of food, everything you will try to take it now. But if you think you're going to get your immunity levels on great immunity levels, good immunity levels, very good immunity within 15 days, it's not going to work, guys. Because immunity is earned and it is reached to a level when you have been in a particular lifestyle long enough, like 3 to 4 years of an absolute healthy lifestyle. You're eating well, you're sleeping well, your recovery is good, your toxication is less. If all those things are there for 2 to 3 years, then you have that immunity level. You cannot suddenly develop it over the period of time. So what people are doing today, I appreciate it. They have already taken the initiative. But I want to tell them that you have to make it your lifestyle. Minimum 30 minutes of physical activity is very, very important. Minimum 30 minutes of physical activity, 4 to 5 days a week is minimum required by every individual. Physical activity, why I'm using the word physical activity, that does not mean that you should go and lift heavy weights, try to become a bodybuilder, put on some muscles. Those are different things. Those are different aspects. Bodybuilders are bodybuilding. They are putting on muscle. Somebody wants to look great with muscles. They are putting on muscle. But that does not become a part of a physical activity necessarily. For an individual looking for a healthy body, immune body, a body where the immune system is good, needs to work out. A little physical activity of 30 minutes is very, very important. So if you have a good 30 minutes of physical activity for 4 to 5 days a week, you eat well, minimum 6 days a week. Only if you eat once here and there, once a day, bit here and there, it's fine. But believe me, food is the most toxic substance humans are consuming. Because every other thing has a limitation. So many people, they don't drink every day. There are not everyday toxications coming into your body, but food is something you eat 365 days, 3 to 4.
Okay, I guess there's few network issues with Sami sir's thing. It's already time up, so let's conclude the session back. I would like to thank Dr. Ashwani Garg sir and Dr. Vanishree Adiga ma'am and also Samir Ansari sir for being here with Planetech Media House today and sharing their experience and information, health and nutrition. Thank you so much for being on the platform of Planetech Media House. We're glad to have you here. Signing off. Danasteva.